but it did, and we did redo the show, and you can never capture the same show exactly the same twice. I mean, we did discuss the same topics, but it came out differently. Different things were discussed in more depth before, then, it just isn't quite the same. But to this day, both I and the host of that show laugh when we talk about that, because it's like, what happened?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I had a guest on Rob, maybe 8-9 months ago. He was on my show, and we were talking about his abduction and UFOs. And we were talking about he stumbled on this farm in Texas, which turned out to be a secret type of military base. And he was watching it for days, and all of a sudden these military uniform guys would come out of the silo, and walk off, and they had weapons and stuff like that. He thought that was really strange. And then he also noticed around that abandoned farm there were some radio towers that said, U.S. government property on it. So he was talking about this on my show, and we went on break. And he, was texting me while we were on break, hey, look at this picture. And he was sending me a picture of his back porch and a black helicopter just, above his house, and hanging there for a few minutes and not moving. That really freaked him out. Well, the next night or the night after, he was on Coast to Coast. And the same thing, he talked about the same subjects and stuff like that. He was texting me and sending me a picture of another helicopter. Again, it was, while he was talking about the subject, was over his house to intimidate him. I don't know. So it just tells you that, if you're talking about the wrong thing, it can have repercussions.
Oh, absolutely. I did have an experience with black helicopters. I'd watched a show when I was much younger, back in the 80s, about UFOs, and I was driving into Arizona, and it was broad daylight, and I saw a small fleet of helicopters off to my extreme right, coming up over the horizon. And I jokingly said to the driver, I said, oh, look, black helicopters, no insignia. Just joking, because they were so far away you couldn't see anything other than silhouettes. So, of course, our interest was piqued, so we kept watching them. They got closer and closer, and finally flew right over us. And I swear to you, there was not an insignia on them. They were black, not military olive drab or khaki-colored or camouflage. They were black, and they had absolutely no numbers or insignia on them at all. There's about 7 of them. And they were very quiet. I couldn't hear them. I'm not saying that they didn't make any noise at all, but because the truck I was in was running and driving at the time, so I'm not sure. But they were black helicopters, and they had no insignia, so they do exist.
Oh, yeah. I sure wouldn't want to have one over my house while I was talking about it. Now, why don't you tell everybody about your latest book?
Well, my latest book is on the Mandela Effect, and it's called Shattered Reality, The Mandela Effect, and I've been getting into that because that's a really strange topic, and again, I'm attracted to the strange. And the other book that I have out is Deadly UFOs and the Disappeared. It's another recent book, and then also there is one with Permuted Press and distributed by Simon & Schuster, and it is called Invader Moon. And they also have, or I have another book out that's called The Mystery That Is Mars. And there are a lot of others. Actually, if people just go to Amazon, type in my last name, Shelsky, it all comes up. So they can find it for themselves in print or Kindle.
Now, do you have a website where people can contact you for reportings of like UFOs or if they've been abducted or anything strange or loss of time travel, anything where they can get a hold of you?
Oh, yes, they can. I have my contact information on my Blogspot site, and it is robshelsky.blogspot.com, and that's where I keep a record of all the shows and interesting things have happened, and my contact information is right there. I like people to contact me personally. I like to hear their stories.
Well, I certainly do. Hey, now, Rob, our time is virtually up. I would like to have you back on and talk about time travel sometime. And I really want to talk about Mothman because, I have a friend who runs a museum in Texas that a friend of his claims that her friend hit a Mothman while she was going into town with her car. And it did some damage to her car. Too bad they didn't think about doing some type of DNA testing. But claimed that this man creature, it was just standing there after she hit it on the road, staring at her, And then after a little while, it kind of flew off, and it really shook her up. And he said that was his friend was very credible, along with the person who saw it happen to, is very credible person in the area.
Oh, and not to mention, sightings like that are seen worldwide. In Cornwall, England, they refer to it as the Owl Man, and it's been around for several centuries, too. Sightings have been seen in London, Azerbaijan. I mean, it isn't just restricted to the United States.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So I would like to have you back on maybe in the next month or so, and we can talk about all these other subjects. As of September, I'm going back to my normal 2-3 hour format instead of an hour. I'm kind of healing yet. So sitting in a chair for about an hour is like for somebody sitting in a chair for 10 hours.
Right. It's about the maximum you can handle right now. Oh, understandable.
Yeah. Well, my friend, it's been great having you on. And again, I want to, offer you to come back on again.
Great, and I would love to come back on again. And time travel really intrigues me. So yeah, I'd love to talk about that and the Mothman. So, and thank you again for having me on. I really enjoyed the show. You're a very erudite host.
Well, thank you. Yeah, time travel, one thing, I look at maybe we can go in the future. I don't know if we can actually go in the past. And that's some of the stuff I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, and there's some evidence that they can. So, and it comes from, believe it or not, UFOs.
Interesting. Okay, Rob, well, you have a great week, and I will get a hold of you in the next few days and set you up another booking on the show.
Great, thank you so much, and I hope your recovery goes smoothly.
I hope so, too, my friend. You take care.
You too. Have a good night.
You too. Well, we're going to continue all week long, talking about UFOs. We got Penny coming on tomorrow about the secret Space Force. And then I'm off on Friday, and James Kirschbaum is filling in for me on Friday on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. His guest is Mary Joyce from the UFO Reporting Center in North Cashiers, North Carolina. Hopefully they're going to be talking about UFOs and aliens and stuff, what's going on there. Maybe she can even touch base about these, cannibal aliens that supposedly are working with the U.S. government at an underground base. Anyway, everybody, I want to thank you for listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. Tell your friends about us. You can find us at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. If you are into Facebook, please share one of our postings. Let people know about our show. We try to bring you, the very best guests in the paranormal. Everybody, have a great one. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Não perde tempo, escolhe uma roupa, porque no fim eu sei que vou tirar. Fala tchau pro seu batom na boca e fala oi pra quem te faz pirar. Se você já tá com a mesma sensação, pode vir, gente, que eu tô um vulcão. Tá descontrolado.